Hey, what's poppin' YouTube? We're back again with more SCPs in our deep dive. So today we're checking out one that I've been excited to check out for quite a while because, oh my goodness gracious, in the comments you've been asking me for months. And that is to watch SCP-610, The Flesh That Hates. So let's get straight into it. But hey, before we get started, shout out, you know the vibes. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment down below to feed the algorithm wads. If you want to know my streaming schedule, which is live over on Twitch at Aliciaxlife, you can check it out over on my Twitter, actually. My Twitter is aliciaxlifevt, as in vtuber. Check it out over there, and I post it every single week. Anyways, let's get into it. Oh, he looked just like that dude with the hands and the eyeballs in the hands. I talked about Pan's Labyrinth last time, and I'm talking about it again. He looked like that dude for real. Wait, he sits like a shrimp. Don't let friends sit like shrimps. Don't shit like shrimps either. Don't do either. Don't shit and don't sit like shrimps. I'm not playing the video yet.
Special containment procedure.
Yeah, you're good.
Studying today is SCP-610. Object class, Keter. Special containment procedures. Due to the vast area of infection...
You guys started freaking out. You're like, Alicia, there's the audio, please. Do you think I was talking over Vulcan? Do you think I was talking over him? Like, come on, man. I usually pause to talk.
SCP-610 covers. Containment is impossible. Isolation of the area has proved far more effective, and permission has been granted by the Russian government to establish a perimeter to keep people out of these areas under the guise of military operations. Should any organism displaying traits consistent with SCP-610 be sighted near this perimeter, then the established protocol requires it be engaged at range with small arms until immobile, then dispatched using incendiary weapons and munitions from his...
I have small arms. I might not be machinery, but I do have small arms. Can we use me?
great a distance as possible. Any living thing coming in physical contact with an organism infected with SCP-610 is considered expendable.
I've never shot a gun in my life. So, me mistaking arms with arms is something that would definitely be like like a realistic thing. I'm just saying.
Is to be immediately terminated and incinerated. Any persons coming within 3 meters of SCP-610 infected life are to immediately withdraw from the area, be isolated from the rest of the team, and subjected to medical examination using only remote techniques to determine if infection has occurred, and appropriate steps taken based on that determination.
Okay.
At present, the known infection vectors of SCP-610's spread seems to be focused on physical contact. Drone movements with heavily infected areas have returned air samples containing minute particulate, which, when exposed to organic compounds, will result in the spread of SCP-610.
Oh.
The results of these particular tests have revealed that most require several days to manifest, if at all, with the exception of direct contact with exposed lung and liver tissue. These particular tests show a rapid rate of growth, which requires incineration of the testing environment no more than 24 hours after initial exposure, even with a 2-hour mishap risking a compromised facility event. Given that this kind of rapid growth only occurs in organic material existing outside the human body, this form of infection is currently considered a minor concern. These peculiarities have given rise to a series of questions regarding the possible origin of the infection in conjunction with the fatal containment protocol remains at a scorched earth policy at this time, and no concern for transmission via water or air infection parameters exist, barring situational changes in the field.
It's so interesting. It's so I mean, like, come on, burning and purging everything after it touches it. I mean, for them, not a big deal. Minor inconvenience. But it's interesting to see that, like, when you create, like, the discovery of, like, having something intentionally, like a drone basically being put in, having samples of organs and tissue, seeing how it, like, affects that even independent of a body. Like, the transference of flesh itself, regardless of, like, what it's contained within. That's interesting, right?
Description. Initial reports of SCP-610 came direct from the Russian government through undisclosable channels. These reports consisted primarily of disappearances of farmers in the region and were not considered until the local police, followed by the regional police, and finally, a government dispatch agent, all failed to report within a 72-hour period.
Oh, they dead as
A
hell.
small military contingent was dispatched to the area and quickly withdrew, at which point the Foundation was contacted to investigate. The area SCP-610 affects is close to Lake Baikal in southern Siberia.
Okay.
Areas of known infection are marked on the map provided to us. Containment perimeters are marked in blue surrounding these infection areas, and as of present, no further locations have been identified.
Okay.
Incursions into the perimeter must be reported prior to conducting, confirmed during exploration, and debriefed on immediately following return.
I mean, yeah, because if you enter the location without informing people prior to you entering and only upon return, like, you need to understand, like, the nuances of, like, how long you were in that facility, like, how long you were in there for, right, to conduct proper testing. Like, oh, you were able to survive within that area for X amount of time. Like, you don't know if it can distort those aspects. Like, though it seems like it's more of a physical factor, they don't know about if there is a psychological factor to it as well, right? So, like, having notes of all that stuff does help with it.
SCP-610 appears to be a contagious skin disease at first, with symptoms including rash, itching, and increased skin sensitivity. Within 3 hours, the disease will cause blemishes resembling heavy scar tissue to form in the chest and arm areas,
Scar tissue that I wish you saw.
spreading to the legs and back within an additional hour, consuming the victim completely within 5 hours. Exposure to high
5 hours
temperatures
is
vastly
fast.
decreases the time for the contagion to spread, and complete infections have been recorded occurring in as little as 5 minutes. After the complete
So if you put my ass in an easy bake oven and that light bulb started heating me up, it's no longer 5 hours left to live and tell my loved ones it's gonna be okay. Like, that's crazy. They're now cooking my ass up with that light bulb in the easy bake, and I only got 10 minutes left, Shawty. What the fuck?
completion of the infection occurs, the victim's life functions will cease for approximately 3 minutes, after which time they will restart at 2 to 3 times the activity rate of a normal human. Following this,
Whoa, what?
victim's life functions will cease for approximately 3 minutes, after which time they will restart at 2 to 3 times the activity rate of a normal human. Following this, the scar tissue on the victims will start to move of its own accord, and
Oh!
grow at a rapid rate.
Oh!
Normal human features start to disappear at this point under the infection.
Oh, so this motherfucker's just an Oh! Oh, God, in the bodies that are sitting in the... Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no, this shit... Oh, no. Oh, that got so much worse. Oh, hold up. Let me show y'all. This Oh. Oh, this motherfucker right... Oh. I kind of was like, oh, that's cool. He's got, like... I knew they were corpses, but I didn't think that they were, like, moving. I thought that, like, once the flesh, like, infected them, that, like, they just became clumpy flesh and he could probably, like, absorb it or something. But no! It's so much worse! They're zombie fleshies. Zombie fleshies. Like, they're alive, dude. They're just not human. They just, like they're just built different. Oh,
The path
shit.
of mutation appears to be largely random. Subjects observed during this stage of infection have been recorded as growing 3 or more limbs of a type, such as arms or legs. The head may become...
Huh?
Subjects observed during this stage of infection have been recorded as growing 3 or more limbs of a type, such as arms or legs.
3 dicks. Someone had to think it alongside me. One person. Come on. Fess up. Who thought it with me? 3 penises. Thank you. Thank you for saying yup, and I did. I appreciate y'all. The ones who fessed up to it, I appreciate you.
The head may become misshapen, elongate, or widen out, and parts of the subject may
Is he talking about the person's actual head, or is he talking about the penis head? I'm sorry. I be kidding too much. I be playing.
split open, from which additional branches of flesh will grow. The duration of this stage of infection is unknown.
I really wish they would name the stage of that part of the infection stage called blossoming. Oh, they're just blossoming, you know? The bulb of their head flourishes outwards and gains more arms and limbs. Right? That'd be kind of sick, though.
All subjects appear to progress to the later stages. Under unknown conditions, an infected individual will cease moving and place itself in a location it deems suitable where it roots itself. The fleshy growth on the victim will then begin to spread across all surrounding objects and consume them. Such objects do not spread infection as living creatures do, however.
Oh, okay. Okay, so the room itself is covered in it technically, but it doesn't infect people the same way that okay. Oh. Well, I guess that's because the objects are just not flesh, so it would make sense. Yeah, that checks out.
Effective prolonged contact with these objects is recorded later in this document. It is assumed that this behavior is to create an area hospitable to continued growth of the other infected. Observation of life infected by SCP-610 by staff is impossible.
It's kind of like if you think of it as like fertilized soil, right? Like if the environment is completely like kind of taken over by it, even though it won't like start to like manifest its own life, sort of, it's more so just like creating a better environment for the growth of the entity that caused it in the first place. So that way they can keep like, yeah.
Those infected with the disease immediately seek out aid as natural human impulse resulting in unintended infections. Those infected past the scar tissue phase actively and aggressively attempt to infect anyone approaching them within an undefined area. It has been established.
Honestly, that's just you guys watching my YouTube channel. You guys are like, come on, man. I don't fuck with VTubers. I don't like them. I don't watch VTubers, bro. Okay? Fuck. I watch Aliciaxdeath. What's wrong with me? Have you heard of Aliciaxdeath? No, hear me out, bro. He started infecting other people. No. You don't get it. She's not cringe. Don't trust me. Listen, I used to not like VTubers either, bro. I used to not like, no, I'm not weird. Here, try the channel.
That should an infected be capable of sight and observe an uninfected, it will proceed towards them. If the infected has lost the ability of sight, a range of approximately 30 meters is considered safe.
All right, damn, 30 meters
Observation
is
of SCP-610
damn far, but yeah.
Settlements has been
Can
established.
this motherfucker sprint? Hold up. Can these motherfuckers sprint? Because they have like 3 to 5 times their human ability, right? Oh shit, 30 meters is hella far to get away then. Oh, we fucked.
Using artificial methods such as remote robots. The data returned from these observations, coupled with the openly aggressive nature of the infected, to attempt to spread SCP.
I'm so sorry to interrupt this, but I totally lost focus because someone in chat goes, try the channel. Motherfucker literally put role-playing asterisks and went Wheezes sickly. I fucking love you guys. Holy shit. Anyways.
P610 has resulted in the Kenner classification.
Yeah, it would make sense.
However, so long as nothing is allowed to enter or leave the infected areas, it is considered a neutralized threat. Of concern are the cavernous areas beneath the infected settlements that were discovered during the exploration, and attempts to get research personnel into these areas are underway.
Oh, this is definitely going to get worse, because I was like, okay, so if you consider it neutralized because you locked it away into a room, but now we're talking about the alternate areas in which it was infected. How the fuck? Oh no. Rats that hate. Dude,
Okay. We will now be going over the field logs associated with SCP-610. Unfortunately, at this time, SCP-610-L6 has been redacted. The only thing available about this field log is it's an exploration record of Operation Source Point, which I've been informed is for Class A personnel or higher only. So, Without further ado, this is field log SCP.
Wait, you said it's not contained? The data returned from these observations, coupled with openly aggressive nature of the infected, in attempts to spread SCP-610, has resulted in the Keter classification. However, so long as nothing is allowed to enter or leave the infected areas, it is considered neutralized threat. Oh, that only applies to the locations in which they locked it down. But that doesn't mean all locations are locked down. So that means it's only neutralized in those aspects. Got it. Okay. I misunderstood that.
Towards Site A. Herbie has a battery life of 12 hours and a control range far wider than that required for this dispatch. Herbie is able to enter Site A without investigate the area. For the first such exploration, a small camera-mounted unit known as a Herbie was dispatched at a safe distance and directed towards Site A. Herbie has a battery life of 12 hours and a control range far wider than that required for this dispatch.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
Herbie is able to enter Site A without incident.
Good.
The landscape around Site A shows early stages of assimilation by singular SCP-610 infected who have fallen at largely random intervals around what remains of the village. Many of the homes appear to have suffered fire damage long since put out. However, a fair amount remain intact. Aerial reconnaissance of Site A, combined with thermal imaging, has put it at an estimated...
Oh god, they had fires? And we know that's what makes them transition faster, right? We talked about how it's like normally 5 hours, but it become 5 minutes if like they're activated by heat. And the village was on fire, so it was like way worse. Oh no.
Population of 79 infected.
Okay.
Immobile infected are included in this number. However, it is difficult to ascertain an exact percentage of mobile versus immobile.
Got it.
Varying degrees of physical mutation due to SCP-610 are present in Site A, and it is assumed all the inhabitants are in advanced stages of the infection. Herbie observed the exterior of the village for 2 hours, during which time all infected behaved with what appeared to be a loose sense of social structure. Because Herbie remained stationary during this observation period, it is unknown precisely what each individual infected person was doing. However, the Central Plaza experienced occasional bursts of activity and downtime. Requiring more information, Herbie was directed to follow an infected as it entered a home. There is a bumpy camera feed as Herbie scoots over the gravel behind the quickly shambling infected person. The interior of this home is the same as that attached to the primary file, or SCP-610. The infected being tailed is the one sitting at the table. After entering the home, Herbie's camera was raised slowly as to not to draw attention. This action was either unnoticed or ignored. The infected person is watched from the doorway as it hobbles around the home and stops at each of the other visible infected organisms. However, it appears to ignore the one under the table.
There is one under the table! Holy shit! I did not notice that till he said it! Oh my god! That scared the daylights out of me. Okay.
Mobile does not leave that area. What this creature was before infection is unclear. After lapping the table and repeating this procedure 3 times, the primary infected person, known as Alpha, henceforward, stops at the bedridden infected, known as Beta, and proceeds to assault it with furious punches. Beta is unable to leave the bed for unknown reasons, but it is not completely immobile.
Alpha's casually beating the fuck out of Betas. What up, bitch? What up, bitch? Stupid bitch. Yeah.
As it flails its arms in response to the beatings delivered by Alpha. After several sustained minutes of this beating, a piercing sound explodes from the area around Beta, who then proceeds to project a cloud of unknown matter into the air from its chest cavity. Alpha lingers in the cloud as it floats in the air around them, slowly descending into the ground. The unknown life form on the table aside Beta begins to twitch in an apparent seizure, and Alpha again laps the room twice more, stopping again at each infected organism, but still ignoring the one under the table, as well as Beta now. After these 2 laps, Alpha seats itself at the table and reaches out to position the 3 plates atop it as if setting a dinner set. After the plates are positioned, the facial tendrils extending from Alpha wiggle up and start to coil on one of the plates before tearing apart and separating. This is repeated at each plate. The image attached to SCP-610's primary file is a still image of this occurrence.
Yeah.
After each plate is filled with Alpha's flesh, it leaves the table and approaches Herbie, which is moved from Alpha's path.
Oh.
Alpha leaves the home, but Kirby's camera remains focused on the table. After several minutes, a group comprised of 6 to 7 infected enter the room from outside,
Okay.
still ignoring Herbie. Each infected shambles as if movement is difficult, jerking in large steps or squirming in small ones. These infected all surround the table and each take turns grabbing handfuls of the flesh substance left by Alpha, pressing it into whatever orifices on themselves they can.
Okay.
Some into mouths, some into the chest, some behind their backs, some under the arms. When all the plates are empty, this
Some shove straight into their assholes.
group leaves. Herbie remains here for several more minutes before retracting its camera and leaving. Immediately after leaving the home, Herbie collides with an object. Panning the camera around, the obstruction appears to be Alpha, whose facial tendrils are intermingling with another infected having similar mutations. The impact is
He kind of making out. Wait, his face tendrils and the other and they kind of getting in there? He either sucking the soul out that motherfucker and combining, or he getting some.
is ignored, and the two infected part ways
Oh.
after several minutes. Herbie is then directed to explore more areas of the village. The remains of what appears to have been a store show signs of severe fire damage, as well as activity inside the building, which Herbie moves to investigate. The door is slightly ajar, and with firm movements of Herbie, it is pushed open. No notice is taken of this action, or it is ignored. Inside the store are several infected persons, most of whom are standing around. However, one is on the ground rolling back and forth over the space of approximately 0.3 meters, it's about 1 foot, and is ignored by the others.
Okay.
Herbie rolls under the divider, separating the cashier area from the customer area, and pans around behind the counter. The upper half of a person is protruding from a cellar door behind the counter.
Okay.
This person does not appear to be suffering from advanced infection and wears the garb of a Russian soldier. Herbie zooms in the camera to confirm identification, and it is noticed the eyes of this person are in constant movement, often focusing on Herbie. The rest of the soldier does not move. Herbie is directed to leave this area and proceeds to the back room. In this storage area, a large pile of bodies are stacked
What
together.
the fuck?
Some pieces of clothing are visible and appear to
Ooh, I feel bad for that motherfucker for real. He ain't infected yet, but it's cooking up.
contain both military garb and everyday clothing. No facial features are discernible on any of the bodies due to the way they're stacked. Atop the bodies, an infected sits, appearing to have its lower parts fused to the pile, and with its upper half in a wild state of flailing and seizure. Approximately every 10 seconds, a burst of spores flies out the top of this infected, which linger in the air. Herbie is directed to leave the building. After leaving this building, Herbie passes by the village well, surrounding which
Honestly, the visual of that is fucking cool, right? Because I kind of thought of it in my head. I don't know, this is like kind of weird, but I kind of imagined it like the upper half of the body is like wreathing in pain and flapping its arms, but the lower half of its body is kind of like a flesh skirt. You know what I mean? But it's like stacked bodies and layered, but like the corpses are all fucking layered and stacked. Like, and it's like kind of melded flesh into like a skirt. Oh. Like one of those cakes? Or is it one of those ones with like the dress cakes? Kind of like that?
which are a series of immobile infected, all facing the well.
Wacky's waving inflatable arm flailing tube man, yep.
The arms of each of these infected persons are stretched out, one in contact with the next, forming a perfect chain, save for one, whose arms are down at his sides. Herbie passes by this last infected to approach what appears to have been a town hall or mayor's building when the infected becomes mobile and snatches the rover up.
Huh?
Video feeds from Herbie.
Back we go, back we go, back we
These
go.
infected persons are stretched out, one in contact with the next, forming a perfect chain, save for one, whose arms are down at his sides. Herbie passes by this last infected to approach what appears to have been a town hall or mayor's building when the infected becomes mobile and and snatches the rover up. Video feed from Herbie focuses on the face of the infected, which is strangely in perfect shape given the condition of the rest of its body, which is horribly bloated. This infected was once a young girl from appearance, estimated 10 to 12. Herbie is rolled side to side in its grip as its face stares motionless at the rover. The infected's face suddenly balloons in size and explodes outward into a series of fleshy flaps that grip Herbie and draw it inside. Herbie's video feed terminates here.
Oh.
Herbie was considered lost at this point. However, no one at Control remembered to turn off the video feed, assuming it cut. 5 hours later, Herbie's video feed resumed.
Oh
stationary
shit!
And at raised level, pointing at the upper rim of the village well. The video feed contains some blur due to what appears to be a slimy film, which often oozes across the lens, but when not obscured, provides perfect quality recording. Herbie does not respond to any remote commands, but its video jerks back and forth from target to target, zooming in and zooming out of its own accord. Video feed is cut manually, and all connections to Herbie's unit are ordered erased. Moving on, this is field log SCP-610-L2.
God
An infected
damn.
Class D personnel is sent into Site C with video equipment.
Oh man, that part was so cool. Oh man, with like Herbie exploring it and seeing that they kind of have their own like little society, but it's like broken down into like this sort of like visceral aggression almost, and like how it's based in like these spores being of value, and like to see like Alpha like beating the fuck out of Beta, and then like the spores like erupt for the first time, and that's where we kind of understand the visual of it, and then we get to see that again within like the flesh pile, and just all those different aspects. Then everyone like pulling up to the room that are stumbly, and then in addition to all of that, you get like the outside interaction where two of them like basically make the fuck out. It's so interesting, right? Oh.
During construction of the perimeter surrounding SCP-610's containment area, several Class D personnel were infected due to assaults from the infected villagers or animals roaming the area, in addition to a number of infections as a result of escape attempts and careless behavior. Most of these infected personnel were immediately destroyed with flamethrowers. However,
That's
a
fair.
small collection of infected were contained in cold storage units, which prolonged the inevitable progression of SCP-610's mutative properties.
Oh, okay.
The decision was made to utilize some of these infected personnel as video relays and dispatch them to nearby sites.
Oh my
Due
fuck,
to the
that's dark.
concern
Okay.
over loss of equipment, as evidenced in SCP-610-L1, all 3 subjects that were used in this manner were sent in with a single video system to Site C. Additional equipment
I'm sorry. Dude, that's fucked up. Yeah, so due to budget cuts, we don't want to lose equipment. So we're gonna give you the bare minimum. I know you're exploring something very particular. But our branch just doesn't have the funds, bro. Have fun. Like, okay.
issued for this dispatch include a 1-gallon container of gasoline, 3 emergency flares, 3 9mm pistols with 3 magazines of ammunition each, and 3 single-serving food rations. The infected personnel were instructed to observe and avoid interaction with the infected villagers as long as possible. But should a situation arise where they are met with aggression or feel they are losing themselves to SCP-610's influence, they are free to kill as many infected villagers as they so choose, and do
This would make a sick fucking video game. Just saying.
as much damage to infected objects and property as possible while maintaining video feed. The intent of this order was to provide data of SCP-610
No, shut up, chat. Shut up. Not say, yeah, fuck those Minecraft villagers. No. That ass. to me. You're
the
so brain
communities in a
rotted.
raid situation, so a plan of eradication could be better established. At the time of this expedition, Site C was suspected to be a possible origin point for SCP-610, having far fewer mobile infected than other sites, as well as structures which appear to have been layered over several times, with the terraforming effects of the immobile infected. Dispatch Class D personnel, known henceforth as DI-1, DI-2, and DI-3, were directed to pay particular
DI3 just die. Just saying.
attention to anything that could be considered an origin point for SCP-610. The trek from our perimeter camp to Site C was uneventful. There was no evidence of any native animal life in the area. As Site C is approached, there is no noticeable rise in the temperature within the last 30 meters of the trip that necessitates removal of the heavy cold-based coverings that were provided. The temperature rises again sharply at the entrance to Site C proper, which requires a further shedding of garments for fear of heat stroke. Temperatures within Site C are described as being heavily humid, around 32 degrees. That's 89 Fahrenheit. One of the first immediately noticed traits about Site C is an array of immobile pylons, which encircle what is believed to be the entirety of the site, separated by an apparent distance of 5 to 6 meters. Each pylon appears to be 2 to 4 infected persons fused together in one spot.
Dude, this is so sophisticated of their society. It's so interesting to see how it develops, right? To like have like sort of like these estimations of placings between the between each like amalgamation of flesh. It's like human pylons, or I guess like grotesque flesh pylons, but it's fucking cool. Like how they're able to like evolve into like what these. I wonder what their society like. The hierarchy that follows it, because they kind of mentioned it briefly before about the curiosity of how it would work. But now I'm like, now I'm even more intrigued. Ooh.
On some of these pylons, features such as faces or anuses are still visible, in addition to several other holes which do not naturally occur, all appearing.
Are these pylons for fucking? Do they face fuck and booty cheek fuck the pylons?
To act as heat vents. Where the heat is generated is unknown. Current belief is that this is an advanced stage of SCP-610 terraforming in its environment to facilitate spread of itself. DI-2, who was the furthest along in progression of SCP-610 of the three by a number of hours, begins to seizure after only a few minutes in Site C during examination of the pylons. The progression to the scar tissue phase of SCP-610 infection is observed in full course as DI-2 spasms on the ground, his entire body being overtaken by the sticky tan flesh almost entirely after 45 seconds. DI-2 was terminated by a gunshot from DI-1 and his equipment left where it is. The spread of SCP-610 over DI-2 continues even after death of the body until all movement ceases.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Perimeter control is relaying new instructions to DI-1 and DI-3 regarding the situation, there is a shift in the ground covering in Site C where DI-2's body is.
What?
Video feed shows the flesh-like growth splitting open beneath his body and a series of ropey tendrils coming from within the gap to pull his corpse inside. This opening closes up quickly. Total time elapsed 3 seconds. As DI-1 and DI-3 decide to act quickly in these hotter temperatures, fearing the same fate, they proceed to the village center and encounter another previously unknown phenomenon. In the precise center of town.
Dude, boy got yoinked. He got yoinked into the flesh ground. Oh god, underground is horrifying now. Oh god, okay.
Rising above what was
Because now I'm all
community.
thinking about is that flesh amusement park thing. You know that flesh cave? Now I'm thinking of that, but like it's just the whole entity. You know?
Well, is a
fucking
sphere
hell.
suspended by angled supports comprised of SCP-610 flesh. The ball is riddled with the features of humans, in early stages of SCP-610 infection, as well as a good number assumed to be in later stages. A number of specimens of non-human life forms, such as deer and bears, are also visible within the mass. The entire sphere of flesh pulses at a roughly 5-second interval.
Yeah, I know it said that like it goes underground in like the earlier part, but like my thing is that like imagine how expanded it is to the what if it's outsourcing the pillars into the above ground from the entity that's below ground because they're interconnected? And when it absorbs, it's able to create more of those pillars externally. And then if you leave more holes in it, it could excrete more of the spores. Oh, that's a cool ass infrastructure.
And with each pulse, emits a ring of spore-like material from its equator. This material floats to the ground and appears to be absorbed into the converted environment. DI-3 begins to douse the sphere with the provided gasoline, and when questioned by a panicking DI-1, explains this looks like as good a thing to burn as any. At this point, perimeter control has ceased in giving commands due to the rapid deterioration of events. There is no reaction from anything within Site C to any of this activity until the precise moment at which a lit emergency flare is applied to the spherical mass, which immediately goes up in flames.
Oh!
The remote feed plays back a noise from an unknown location that seems to come from a location far outside of Site C, but was reported as being heard, even at perimeter control, by both Site C and A. The noise described as both explosive, as if multiple high-yield charges were detonated on a mountainside,
Okay.
and alive, like a large feral creature, roaring. Within 15 seconds following this sound's dissipation, Site A reported that a series of explosions had occurred within the village. 5 seconds after this report, the spherical mass in the middle of Site C explodes. DI-1
Oh! All the sites are interconnected through the mass underground. So when it did that, they were able to hear the roar that came from externally because it actually is interconnected even outside of the site. Their perception of what the site is actually not correct. It's only they based it off the visual above ground. Oh, fuck.
and DI-3 are thrown by the blast. DI-3 is confirmed deceased by DI-1 after regaining his footing, having suffered injury from stone shrapnel from the wall. DI-1 is able to report he has bruises and ringing ears, but aside from the rapidly spreading SCP-610 infection, he suffered no blast damage. During this recording of footage, DI-1 had his video equipment removed and was looking into it. Due to the angle of recording, it is unknown precisely what occurred in Site C, but something draws DI-1's attention back to the center of town, where he stares for several moments and is then pulled in the opposite direction, the video equipment falling to the ground and recording in a skyward direction. The last moments of footage from DI-1's video unit display a humanoid figure moving through the air, followed by the sound of an impact in the same direction. Within 3 seconds of this event, an unknown creature steps upon the recording video equipment and destroys it. Perimeter control remained on high alert for a full 24 hours at all locations without any incident following this event.
What the fuck? A humanoid figure moving through the air? What the fuck? Oh, I got goosebumps. That, and then someone intentionally destroying the camera too. Oh, I got goosebumps. I got goosebumps.
And moving on to field log SCP-610-L3, initial discovery of the tunnel entrances at Site A.
Like, dude, yeah, he got yoinked, thrown, and then whatever did that to him stomped out the camera. Like, fuck.
The destruction caused by the rapid collapse of the Site C exploration attempt during SCP-610-L2 resulted in a series of unexpected events in Site A. As the strange spherical formation in Site C was burned and destroyed, the SCP-610 infected inhabiting Site A were recorded by aerial drones going into seizures and convulsions. The immobile SCP-610 infected rapidly shriveled and died, along with all of the flesh material spread across inanimate objects within the village. The mobile SCP-610 infected, who were able to regain their footing, all proceeded to what appears to have formerly been an upper-class residence and entered the building. As the infected entered this dwelling, it suffered a foundational collapse, revealing the presence of a sinkhole beneath it.
Oh.
The size of the hole in relation to the structure above it posed an impossibility for an entire building to collapse, suggesting something within the hole applied force directly to the structure with the intent to pull it inside and expose the hole. The revealed hole is approximately large enough to accommodate 3 grown men standing shoulder to shoulder. Light sources applied by remote drones failed to penetrate further than 4 meters depth into the hole. Objects dropped into the hole did not produce an impact sound, suggesting a bottom potentially more than 1,000 meters down.
God damn.
Research of the exterior of the Site A hole was only able to be carried out for 2 hours at a time. Samples of the atmosphere in Site A indicated a complete death of SCP-610 related materials. All infectious life that did not evacuate into the hole died above ground and quickly became shriveled husks. Manned exploration of
Sorry,
Site A.
just 1 second. I just want to reread this part. All infectious life that did not evacuate the hole died above ground and quickly became shriveled husks. Okay. Interesting. Because I thought that, like, I guess, like, the only necessary part of it is the flesh in and of itself, but I thought that maybe, like, the bones would also be added in addition to it,
was
right?
approved and commenced immediately.
I guess not.
In the span of 30 minutes, a total of 3 research teams consisting of 2 to 3 research staff and 4 to 5 armed escort each were dispatched and setting up stations within the remains of the village. Samples of deceased SCP-610 infected and converted matter were sent back to Perimeter HQ for processing and transport. One team was able to recover a small sample of still living SCP-610 tissue substance from a building and pack it for research. Within the second hour of exploration of Site A, a series of echo reverberation units were set up surrounding the hole with the intent of getting an accurate mapping of the hole and possible branch tunnels.
God, that's gonna be horrifying.
At the end of this second hour, before the echo units could be activated, seismic activity began to occur within Site A. 2 teams of the original 3 remained on site, the third en route back to Perimeter HQ with samples. The third team was instructed to proceed back to Perimeter HQ when seismic activity began, and were told that Site A should not be returned to for assistance. Seismic activity at Site A capped at a 2.3 Richter level before petering off. Immediately following the seismic event, a torrent of SCP-610 spores erupted from the hole and layered the area around it for a span of 50 meters. Were in level A.
And the crazy part is that we learned that 30 meters is the range to get out of it, but if the spores expanded over 50 meters, then that means, like, our perception of what it actually... Oh, that's so creepy. Because, like, even what we had perceived as to be safe because of human contact and because of, like, actually interacting with our own flesh was one thing, but then in addition, the spores create a whole new element of fear that we have now. Oh, man.
Material suits. This spore burst was startling, but did not lead to any infections. As the eruption was being reported, both teams at Site A came under attack from aerial life forms infected with SCP-610. These organisms were captured by the remote drone video equipment and showed extremely advanced stages of infection. It is impossible to tell what they mutated from to this present state. Many of the avian creatures attacked by splitting their heads in half and clamping them against research members, pulling them into the air and dropping them into the hole when possible. These avian infected proved vulnerable to small arms fire. In dispatching them, a total of 2 research staff were lost to the hole.
It was just a little snacky.
Crossfire. The injured staff was put down immediately upon showing signs of infection due to his suit breach. Before video and radio contact was lost with the remaining teams inside Site A, a second seismic event began to occur, starting out in the 1 to 1.5 range and scale. Attention was directed at the hole to prepare for a second assault. A second spore burst erupted from the hole during the rising seismic activity, at the point where scales registered a 3 to 3.5 in force. a new unseen SCP-610 entity began to emerge from the hole. The only footage captured of this creature depicts an engorged human head,
Oh.
approximately 20 times larger than normal, pressing itself out of the hole with no discernible body. Video and radio contact were lost as seismic forces increased to 7 on the scale for 2
And
seconds.
then, as he rose from the hole, he started to sing a song. Skibbity bop na zip neep neep, skibbity bop na neep neep.
Seconds duration, then abruptly ceased. Further aerial surveillance of the Site A hole and area depict zero activity and no traces of the research teams, or their ever having been there. All personnel and equipment are considered lost. The next field log is SCP-610-L4. Unmanned exploration of the...
Oh, I'm gonna do this as a part 1, part 2, because this is long as a motherfucker for real. So, thanks for watching part 1 of Flesh That Hates, SCP-610, and I hope you are excited for part 2, and we'll check out the next half of the video. Thanks for watching, thanks for being absolutely incredible. Hope you enjoyed the laughs, the fun, and the overall creepiness and scary vibes of it. See you guys later. Bye, YouTube!